Good morning, everybody. Sorry, I'm a minute or two late this morning. Technical phone issues again. Anyway, it's a beautiful sunny morning here in Brackley. My name is Jenny McCormack and I'm from Gemini Crafts. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator and I'm based in the market town of Brackley, which is in the centre of the UK. So welcome to my series of cards this week using Celebrate Sunflowers. This is from Stampin' Up, so all of the products I use are Stampin' Up products. And morning Tracy, morning Lynn, Scylla, Jeanette. So this week I started with some simple stamping. I dig those out. So on Monday we started with this one, so you can go back and view any of these videos again if you need to. They're all on replay and have been uploaded to YouTube. So I've got this one here that we did on Monday, as we did this one. I might have to drop my blind down because that sun's moved around a little bit. Let me have a quick look. There we go. A bit more. So this was using the small sunflower on Monday. And then yesterday we introduced the large sunflower. And I just stamped it on a small piece of Whisper White card. Coloured it in. And then put the piece of card through our Tasteful Textile embossing folder to give it some depth and embossing on the card, if you can see that. And that's what we did yesterday, and we just added a sentiment there from the well written dies. Today I thought I'd move it one step further. Hi Carol, hi Monica, good evening in Australia. So these are the dies that go with the sunflower set. Now you can just buy the stamps on their own, which is absolutely fine, and you'll get plenty of fun and pleasure from those, I'm sure. But you can also match them with the dies, and as you can see they're designed to coordinate with the stamps. So these ones at the top are designed to cut out the stamped images. So I stamped the large sunflower, the smaller sunflower, the two leaves which come as a single stamp, but when they die cut they come out as two separate stamps, and then the leaf on its own. And then the bottom section allows you to die cut other images that can be used with or without the stamps. This one is absolutely stunning. I'm actually going to use that tomorrow. So today we're just going to use the stamped image dies. But you've got this leaf which will sit on top of the other leaf cut out. These are just so pretty. And then we have a little centre with some embossed dots as well. So it's a really nice set, and you can get lots of different effects. I came across a fantastic colouring in with blends pens video yesterday, so I'll pop a link to it in my Gemini Crafts page when this is finished. Absolutely stunning. I'm trying to think where the lady was from, and I honestly can't remember, and I can't remember her name either, but I promise I will add that in later. It's really worth a watch. If you love colouring in and you want a really realistic sunflower, that is the way to go. By complete contrast, these are my flowers that I literally stamped and cut in less than 5 minutes, because I did some colouring yesterday and a little bit on Monday, and I didn't want to sort of go over and over again. Hello Claire. The colouring in, so I've literally just scribble coloured over there. I will go back in and do a little bit more with it later on, and the same with the leaves. So all I did was I stamped on a piece of Whisper White card. I did the colouring in, and then I just used the dies over the leaf and the sunflower. Now there's only one way this sunflower goes, and you just have to be a little bit patient to find the matching piece. Now I did think, when I sussed it, I am going to mark it, because I do know that this bit here is usually the bottom of the leaf. So I was thinking of putting a dot on this bottom leaf. So if you bear with me, I'm just going to find it, because obviously there's a lot of little petals. It's obvious when you get there, and all I tend to do is just focus on one set of petals until I've got it in place. And you can guarantee I was, you know, like this close to it a minute ago. So you really don't want to be doing this every single time. Oh, not quite. That's it. That is it. So I am now going to put a dot on this petal here, because I know this is easy to find on the stamped image. So let's get a Sharpie, and that's what I would recommend. If you do have dies that are difficult, that aren't really obvious at first glance, then do that. So I'm going to put a little dot on there, and that's because I know that I can find that bit on the flower. So if I take that off now, it's really easy to put back, because I know where that little bit is. So there's a hint for you, or tip for you, if you struggle to match dies up. Same with the punches, you can do the same thing, as long as you have a reference marker. Now what you could do is put the dot on the stamp as well if you wanted to. So here I could put a little dot on the outline of the stamp, and then for always stamp it, for example, at the bottom, and then you would know that that needs to be at the bottom. So it's up to you, but I would definitely recommend that, because you could waste a lot of time, as you can see, just working around there. So just using that marker. Always put it on the outside, obviously not on the inside, because that can transfer onto your image. Hi Babsy. Hi Anthony. Thanks Monica. Nice to see you, Anthony. Thank you for joining us. So these are some other ones that I've got ready if we need them. And I literally just scribbled these in. So if you want to see some more detailed colouring in, there's plenty of demonstrators that have done that, or hop back to my one from yesterday, Tuesday, or Monday, and then you'll be able to see how I did the colouring in. This is really just scribbled on, for want of a better description. So what I was thinking is I wanted to use some of this paper which has got the sunflowers on, and I was thinking possibly of doing a strip here but having some sunflowers stamped over the rest. So let's do the stamping, and then I'll decide if I want to add the strip in. I might do one with and one without, maybe. Let's just have some grid paper to hand. Hi Claire. So I'm just going to pop a piece of grid paper underneath here. Move my little sunflowers out. Is that in a good position for you? Thank you for the hearts, everybody. And I thought I'm going to use Misty Moonlight just to bring in this blue, which is the background of here. So let me grab the stamp. Let's move these out of the way because otherwise they'll get underneath. There we are. Clear some space. See what we're doing. So all I'm going to do is add the corner of the sunflower at different points on there. And I'm just going to use the Misty Moonlight. I do quite like blues and browns together, as you might know. So I am going to ink up the whole of this stamp, even though I'm only using a part of it. Just making sure it's well oiled. There we go. And I'm going to do one up here. So good, nice good pressure on there. Okay. And I'm going to put another one offset at the top. You can hear the wood pigeons again, but we haven't got the chap cutting down all the hedges today. They finished yesterday. So put this one here. So just varying the height of them, like so. Actually, I quite like that on its own. I don't think I want to cover that up. So I'm sorry if I'm inking that just off the bottom there. Now you could open the card up actually and do the whole card front and back if you wanted to. Just going to add a little bit on there. Now this reminds me of some wallpaper that was around years ago, I'm sure. Right, just going to turn this round to get this corner piece in. I do like that combination of colours. So this is the new, one of the new ink colours, Misty Moonlight. This one here. Okay, so there's my base. So I've got two different pieces of paper. So these are actually from the Flowers for All Seasons 6 inches by 6 inches pack. So actually I'm quite thinking a strip of that would be nice, keep it in colour. Or I just put that with some leaves. What do you think? Does it need the strip of paper as well, just to separate it out? Let's just cut a strip and have a look. Hi Julie, hi Wendy. So this would be an option. Like so. What do you think? With or without the strip of paper? Hi Jeanette, as is. Hi Jane. Oh, falling over. I'll wait and see what anybody else thinks. Yeah, maybe it doesn't need the blue strip. Difficult, isn't it? You have something in your mind. There's this one here with the yellow. and that's without again. Wasn't sure if it just didn't look too busy, I don't know. I might find a small sentiment to go in there without. Okay, Tracy likes both, but I've got 2 for without. Okay, I'm going to do it without then for this one. I could have stamped maybe the smaller sunflowers in there. Okay, so what I might do is pop the sentiment on a piece of crumb cake, or I could use, I've got some of these left over. So I've got friend and thanks. Maybe the strip could be thinner, could try that. Like so. Da, da, da. Let's just try a thinner strip, just cut this one down a little bit and see if it makes any difference. I'm going to leave it without for this one. I'll do it on another one though. Okay, so let's put some dimensionals behind this. So anybody watching, this is a very light bit of colouring. I literally, and I'm not joking when I said I did it in 5 minutes, because I literally did this. Now you could stamp this on crumb cake, that would be quite nice too. And obviously take, if you're doing it at home, unless you're doing a whole lot of them, take more time on your colouring in. This is light Mango Melody, just to give you an idea. And yesterday I added a Wink of Stella, and it really did stand out in the evening. My daughter said, "Oh, I love the glittered one." There we go. It's a little bit less scrappy, isn't it? Okay. Now I do also have, and I do quite like this. I wonder if I might do that as a little bow on the left-hand side. Or it's about, I don't know, not sure it needs it. Let me put this together and then I'll decide. What I am going to do is stamp another sunflower on the inside. And I find my Misty Moonlight. Oh, thanks, Winnie. I thought you were here and then gone and then come back again. I hope you're okay. Everybody's had the storms pass by them now. Okay, so I'm just going to pop this in the corner on the inside of my card. There we go. Okay, grab some dimensionals, which I see now here. So what you could also do is cut in between some of these petals to separate them up if you wanted to. Actually, what I am going to do is pop this through the embossing folder with the leaves to give it some more texture. That is what I'm going to do. So I've used this one. This is one of our new ones, Tasteful Textile. This is my current favourite, you might have gathered. It's like the subtle embossing folder if you've got that one, but it's a step up, so it's slightly more, slightly less subtle, slightly more detailed. Oh, Wendy, more rain. Yuck. Right, excuse me while I just put this through the machine. As I was saying to everybody yesterday, we have news of our new die cutting machine coming out, so that's very exciting. So just putting those all in together and just running it through my die cutter, so I've got a big shot. That's what we used to sell. And here, there we go. So if I turn it over, you can see the texture a little bit better, and the texture on the leaves as well. Oh, morning Linda, thank you for joining me this morning. So I'm going to just use the edge of a blends pen to sort of bend this round, like so. It just gives it a bit of interest, and then pop some dimensionals on the back. So I'm going to double height these ones here so that it goes up a little bit higher. So I'm going to put 2 layers of them on there. So just literally putting one on top of another. Like so. And put one in the middle. Popping the middle down and then lifting those up, and it just gives a bit more of a curve to it. So if you can see that, rather than it all being on one level. There we go. And then I'm going to tuck my leaves in. Work out where to put them. Yep. They're definitely going in this corner, like so. So I'm just going to use some wet glue on that, then I can sort of tuck it up underneath, as long as my dimensional isn't in the way, which it might be. I'm not going to push it down until I've got it in position. So a bit of wet glue. And if the dimension is in the way, then I can always just cut the tip of that off, which is what I'm going to do. It is almost 3D. It is indeed, Monica. So I hope you've had a good day, Monica. There we go. Now I'm going to push that down to seal it. There we go. So there we have it. Could put another leaf in there, really. Couldn't I? Let's cut one more out. So sorry this is off screen. There we go. It's certainly very close here today. Really is. That's what I'm thinking. Come out. I haven't run that through the machine, but as it's mostly hidden, I'm not too worried. Let's pop that in. So for anybody who didn't join me right earlier on, I talked about lining up the sunflower die with the sunflower stamp. So let me just move this out of the way, just as a quick recap. So I always know where this bit is because this is designed to be the bottom of the stamp. And when you have this, it's quite difficult to work out where that's going to go, because obviously you've got a lot of ridges that look very similar. So what I did was I put a little marker at the bottom with a Sharpie pen, and I know then that that meets this petal at the bottom. Okay, in fact I could do two, couldn't I? Let's do two. And then I know that it's those two petals. And then when I come to it each time, I find that really, really easy to line up. Otherwise, as you saw earlier, it can take quite a long time to go around every single combination of petals. Oh, that's okay, Molly. Don't worry. Okay, so we've stamped and briefly coloured in the sunflowers. I stamped the sunflowers in Misty Moonlight on the Crumb cake card, and I've layered these up after putting through the textile embossing folder, and I've got a sentiment that I can put on, or I can stamp something. I think I've knocked the other one off somewhere, because I'm not sure that the brown, it would actually look nice maybe in Misty Moonlight, perhaps. And I do have this, but I'm not going to add it to that, I don't think. Just making it, it'll make it too busy. Or I could just stamp a small hello in there, or I could leave it plain. I don't think the Early Espresso one is doing it for me. Let's find a little bit of crumb cake, stamp on there. Let's see. I've got love and thanks to a dear friend. Let's do that one. This is from another set, but it's quite a sweet little sentiment. Almost fits in there on its own, but I'm going to put it onto there and just cut it out. There we go. So if I was doing this again, if I wanted to do lots of these, then I would stamp my sentiment first and then stamp my sunflowers around it on the background. I think that's what I would do. So I'm just going to cut that on my trimmer. I've got a Misty Moonlight and lost it over the top of the brown. Yes, actually that might work, mightn't it? Well, I'm sure it would work. I might not stick this down and do that as an option. I could run it through and see. I could edge this in blue as well to make it stand out if I wanted to. Oops. That wasn't very clever, was it? There we go. I'm going to just daub the edges of that. Grab the sponge. And Misty Moonlight. But you're right, Monica, I think that would look quite nice. So just to take these edges out with the blue, just got some Misty Moonlight on a sponge, just very lightly going around the edge, like so you can see that stand out a little bit more. And in fact, even if that wasn't there, that would make a lovely card just on its own with the background stamps and a sentiment on it, wouldn't it? I think. Okay, so just pop 2 dimensionals onto there. There we go. That's my first card done. Is that one. So stamp the background with the larger sunflowers, stamped the sunflower, coloured it in and ran it through the embossing folder, and then stamped the sentiment and added that on, and then the sunflower on the inside. And the other thing I thought would look nice, hi Baz, is using this as a background to almost make it look like it's on a fence or something. That was what I was thinking. So I could have a panel of yellow, but I quite like it just on its own. Let me just finish off a bit of colouring before I do anything else, so it doesn't look quite as scrappy. And I could in here then introduce that ribbon. So this is Bumblebee ribbon, this is Bumblebee card, because there's not as much going on, is there? So I think I might get away with that. So I'm just going to colour this in. As I say, I will put the link in to a fantastic colouring tutorial using blends pens. If you love colouring and you want a challenge, I will add the link in on my Facebook page here as a separate entity. So just hop back here 5 minutes or so after I finish. And then all of these videos are uploaded to YouTube, so you can look at them later, because I know Facebook videos are a bit hit and miss. You can always look at them by clicking on my videos link. But I'll pop them on YouTube and there'll be a tag of sunflowers. So when you get to my YouTube channel, just look for sunflowers. And then there'll be a sequence of them and I'll do them in order. If you want to watch any again, that is. Okay, so just doing that. As I say, that's not it's not a highly detailed sunflower by any means. I might add a little bit of pumpkin in. Make it look like I've done a little bit of work. That's the nice thing about it, is you can, you know, you can get away with it. Sometimes, you know, a recipient would really appreciate the fact that you've obviously spent time colouring it in. And then we all know some recipients that wouldn't appreciate it. So I'm pleased to say that all the cards I made after our session on Monday, there's 20 of them there, have all been popped into parcels and letters for people. And all my orders that came in yesterday that I sorted out are all ready to go out today or be collected. There we are, a little bit better, isn't it? Okay, so I'm thinking of that onto there, and I want to incorporate this. If it opened the other way, I could do it that. Just have a look on. I think crumb cake will be too light, but let me see. Because this opens sideways on. And what I was thinking was to add that on the left hand side, like so. So crumb cake base or yellow base? Oh, well, thank you, Jeanette, that's very kind of you. Hi Maureen. Yeah, Facebook is a little, you know, and I always worry that Facebook, you know, just going to delete things or take your account out at any time, or, you know, you just have less control. Whereas YouTube is my own channel, so I'm in control of what is on there and what gets published and not. I could cut that going the other way, or I could just leave the ribbon off. Maybe I'm asking too much. I do quite like it with the yellow, because that brings that sunflower out, doesn't it, rather than dance it into the background. Okay, yellow, good. We're all in for yellow. So I'm just going to add some leaves, and then I'm going to put a sentiment across here, and I'm going to use one of the sentiments from the set, if I can find where I put it. Here it is. So it has 4 sentiments. Congratulations on reaching a whole new level of wonderful. That's perfect for members of my team. Let's celebrate you. That's also good for them. Thanks a bunch. Great for my thank you cards. And then know that you are loved. That's one for my mum. So I think I'm going to do, I'm just looking at the size really. I might do congratulations on reaching a whole new level of wonderful. And I wonder if I've got an interesting shape I could put on there, and then I can put them both through the embossing folder. Let me grab some die cuts, which I know I have here somewhere. She says. That when everything goes blank, isn't it? What have I got here? I have an offset one, like so, but I feel that's a little bit too big. Let me see what else I can find. I wonder if I got a shaped punch that would do nicely. Let me have a look. The ribbon can go across the die cut, and the die cut thanks on the bottom. Yes, that's true. Let me see. Not usually quite this indecisive. Let's try this one. Too big for that one. Wendy, yes, it's perfect for Liz's team, isn't it? It's almost like she made it. Let's try that one. I'll stamp that and we'll try a couple and see how we get on. Here's a spare piece of card. There we go. So I'm going to stamp it on here, see what it looks like, and I'm going to stamp and cut it out and see what it looks like, because I can use that for another card anyway. Let's grab Early Espresso. And I might put this through the embossing folder as well. If you're going to step it up slightly, you might as well step it up. Okay, there's that one there. I'm not worried that it's not too straight. I will be for this one though. Let me put that down there. Just going downhill a little bit. Let's try that. I've got two ends of this if I need it. So here's one option. Have that coming in from the side. And then here's the other option. Yes, I know. Yeah, it's a lovely set, isn't it? For sure. There we go. So, I'm going to chop that off there. I quite like that. I quite like that shape. Or, see, that's a bit, I think that's too encroaching. I can have the sunflower up and that further down. But my gut feel is for the stitched one. I think, just because I like the shape. Let's try it and see. So, let's chop this off. I'm not going to risk doing that with my scissors, because I know it won't be straight. And I want it quite close up into there. So this guideline here, for any of you who haven't used our trimmer, the open is where it's going to cut, like so. There we are. Yes, I like that. And I'm going to cut out some leaves, and I think I'm going to put all of that through the embossing folder. Yeah, I'm going to put the whole lot through and cut out some leaves as well. So bear with me while I do that. I'm just going to cut out some leaves from my previous die cut. Oh good, I'm glad you all agree. How nice. The other one was just a bit too busy, wasn't it? I think it's almost like she was trying to squeeze it in, but not doing a very good job. So, as demonstrators, we'll be able to pre-order the new die cutting machine in August. So if you're desperate for one and you want to get your hands on a die cutting machine, if you haven't already got one, or if yours needs replacing, then you're always welcome to join my team and get the benefits of that. And if I'm allowed to mention Christmas, am I allowed to mention Christmas? Yes, I know. Hi, Sue. Then we get to see the Christmas catalogue in a week's time. I haven't even got used to this one yet. Okay, I've got a couple of leaves. Sorry, I could have cut these out before, couldn't I? I just wasn't sure how many I was going to use. There we go. Right, sorry about that. So here's my embossing folder. This is Tasteful Textile, and I'm literally going to put everything in one go. Make sure I get it the front way on that I want it. I don't think that will matter. There we go. Like so. Because it's just a light texture that I want. We do have some lovely new embossing folders. I might use another one of them tomorrow, different one. There we go. So it's just enough of a hint. There we go. Right. Oh, thank you, Wendy. Lovely to have you join us. Thank you. Right, so there's our texture on there. And then we're going to put this on here. You see the texture there on the text. Yeah, I love that. Right, let's put this layer together. So I'm just going to pop some glue on here. Now, I do have the new seal, which I left in the other room. But I will use it tomorrow, and you can see it in use. I used it briefly yesterday for some card making. I was very pleased with it, I have to say. Right, so just popping that layer on. So this is from the In Good Taste papers. For those of you that are in my class in a box for June, this is one of the papers from there. Not from your allocation, I promise. Okay, let's pop that up on dimensionals. So, I'm going to do 3. You could use an embossing tool and make that curve up. Let's have a go. If I can find my mat I have here. And an embossing tool from a come out from my scoreboard. So what I might do is do that in the centre. Now I can see it, but I'm not sure that you can. So it's just raising the edge, raising the centre I should say, like so. It's very subtle. It's I'm not sure really that it's going to be noticed. I can see it because it's raised up. But I think with the texture it's a bit less obvious than it might be. Okay. I could put more dimensionals in the middle this time to raise it up. Let's do that. So I'm going to double these up in the centre. So for my live tomorrow, I'm going to step this up again and use the other die cuts in combination with the stamps and everything. So I'm going to have that there to the left. So now you can see that raised a little bit more, because these are flatter and that is raised. You can feel it actually. Be a good card for somebody with sight impairment. To angle that slightly. What if I might do that? So it's a right off, it gives a bit more space, doesn't it? Right to the edge or to the edge of the paper? Hi Sarah. So there's one option, to the edge of the card, and that's to the edge of the paper. I'm going to put the leaves in while you're deliberating. Perfect. Edge of the brown. Okie dokie. That's what Lynn says. Thank you, Lynn. He's working hard. Got me on the side of her desk. Right, let us add some glue. Do a little bit of glue top and bottom for this. One. I'll chop the top off again. There we go. Just so we've got them at different heights, really. Leave that off for the minute. Now I want that to be a little bit straighter than it is. Let's trim this because it's not quite straight to the text in my mind. Literally slipper off the end, but I was finding it was drawing my eye to the side because it wasn't straight. That's better. There we go. Could add a little bit of linen thread, but I quite like it as it is. I'm going to put that down with. Oh, Carol, you're back. Linda says edge of the brown too. Good. Brill. Let's pop that on. There we are. So quite different. It's almost too curly now. Shall I put one more leaf in? Let's put one at the top, just because I've got it here ready. Tesco's delivery. Ah, well done. Well done, Carol. One thing I hate about food shopping and deliveries is putting it all away, finding space for it. Nice afterwards when you open the cupboard and it's full, but not in the doing. Right, just going to tuck that in there. Like that. there we go. Let's pop a sunflower on the inside. Just going to put the little one on the inside, I think. And we're done. So as I say, if you want to look more at how I did the proper colouring in yesterday, although I think it's, to be honest, my 5-minute scribble was as good as, probably as good as yesterday's, then look back at yesterday's one. If you do hop to my YouTube channel, do subscribe. And also if you get subscribe here and get notifications, then you'll see when I go live each time. So tomorrow, Thursday, I'm live at 7 PM. Okay, Monday and Wednesdays is 10 AM. And Tuesdays and Fridays is 3 PM. So sorry to move it around. I know, you know, sometimes having it at the same time is good, but I know a lot of my team do Facebook Lives at 10 o'clock. And also it you know, makes it more interesting and chops it around for people who are working. So I hope that works for most people. At the top of my page, you can see what time the lives are. That's actually on the top of my header. So there we go. That is the second finished card for today. Here's the first one with the crumb cake and the blue. Sorry, my hand's in the way. Hope they're both, let me know if they're both on the screen for you. And I think we're done for this morning. I've got a trip to the post office and bits and pieces to do. So I will love you and leave you. So I hope you've enjoyed that session today. The stamps that we used were Celebrate Sunflowers, and we used the matching dies with those. And I look forward to crafting with you again. Look after each other, stay safe, and most of all, keep crafting. Thank you so much for joining me today. See you again soon. Bye everybody.